Hey guys, Johnny from Supernova here. I'm here to give you a walkthrough of recently released feature AI Context. In this video, I will show you why you should care about this feature, how you can use it, and how you can get the most out of it today. Let's dive in. AI agents are helping engineers and designers deliver features faster than ever before. But agents are only as good as the context you give them. Your documentation, tokens, components, knowledge, basically everything your engineers and designers work with today. But here's the catch. What if you give your agents wrong context, or too little, or too much of it, or just context that is hard to navigate for the agent? So when the agents are looking for some specific information about a specific component on a specific documentation page, and it cannot easily find it, it will just guess it. And that's exactly where the drift happens. And that's exactly why we have delivered AI Context in Supernova. Before we dive into the demo of the platform, I want to show you here in the diagram how the context actually works. So let's imagine a context as a knowledge you want to provide your agents to do the good job. And the context is actually connection of 3 different data points. So your design system data, which are documentation pages, Figma components, code components, tokens. Then we have edit files. So now you can upload to Supernova Markdown files or PDF files that help you bring even more knowledge that doesn't exist in the design system documentation. And then you can bring skills, because we know that management of the skills is a pain when you have multiple different repos, you have multiple different teams. So now you can manage them all in Supernova, and we are actually planning quite cool things there. So you will get even more value than just distribution. But right now it's great to have skills in the context as well, and you can distribute them via MCP to the right team. And now once you have all the data connected in the context, you can actually go to this nice cycle. So first of all, you will scope them. So as I mentioned, not every agent requires every single piece of the design system. Maybe you have engineering team focused on iOS, so you don't want to give them React components, or you have designers that don't wipe code, so you want to provide them only with documentation and Figma components maybe. So usually we think about the context as personas that you provide the context to. So I, as a marketer, would use some brand guidelines or some tokens about our website, for example, but engineers will require completely different set of information for their job. So you can scope it down and actually distribute to every single team separately. And that's exactly here. So you can distribute every single context as a standalone MCP server. So when a marketing team or PM team will connect to Supernova, they will use a different connection, and it will give them only the data you have governed for them, you have scoped for them. So how it works in practice is that you have one workspace, and then you have multiple different contexts based on the use case you want to use them for. And every single context has an MCP, and you can also export pieces of the context to the repository with the automation pipelines. So that's actually the setup. So your agents get everything through the MCP, or you can export it to repository and manage it like that. Then your agents will do a better job. As I mentioned, if you provide them with the exact knowledge they need, it will give them everything they need for the job they are meant to be for, and it will be more efficient because they are not going to go through hundreds of pages they don't need and they don't need to understand. So it will be even more efficient and faster. And then if your engineers or designers work with the context, they can provide feedback. So let's imagine that they ask for something and the agent won't work with the context pretty well as they would expect. So they can report the feedback back to you so you can act on it, and you can actually improve the context. You can add something to the documentation, or maybe you don't have some parity solved, so you can solve the healthness of the components, for example. So you can collect the feedback, you can act on it. Pretty cool. And as I mentioned, right now you can collect the feedback and improve the context. In the near future, we believe that the agents will give you even clear suggestions what you can improve in your documentation or context, as I mentioned. And then it goes back to scoping and you can manage the loop. So let me go to the platform so you can see exactly what we are talking about. So now we are in the Supernova platform, and if I'm going to go to the left navigation and click on contexts, you see that for a specific design system, I have 6 different contexts. I have Supernova app, Supernova plugin, Supernova portal. Why is that? This is the way how we think about the context in Supernova company. So we have one context dedicated to Supernova app, because Supernova app engineers require some specific set of components, specific set of design system documentation. They have different tokens. And for example, engineers that are working on portal, they don't require the same information. And you don't want to pollute their agents with something they don't need. So you can actually see here that I have the design system information in that context, then I have some files and skills. And what I can do to actually get rid of the information the specific Supernova app team doesn't require, I can filter unnecessary information out. So you can use actually manual exclusion, or you can go to add filters, and you can use dynamic filters here to filter out everything they don't want to have in the context. Pretty powerful, I really recommend to do so. Here, if I'm going to click on files, I can pick what files I want to include. So for example, I don't want to include UX writing voice because it's mostly for designers. Also, I don't care about accessibility standard for now. So again, I'm going to provide only 2 out of 4. And the same applies to skills. You can pick what skills you want to provide in this specific context, because you know that your Supernova app team requires some specific skills for their repository, so you want to provide them here, and you can manage everything in one place regardless where the skills will live. When it comes to distribution, you distribute the context through the MCP. So as I mentioned, every single context has its own unique MCP URL. So your teams can take this URL, they can go to their codex or Claude code, and they can connect this MCP. They can put there some name they will recognize, and they can start using it. The MCP will have access only to information that you have included in your context. What is really cool here, and I really recommend to teach your engineers and designers to provide feedback. So it's very simple. If you are going to connect to the MCP, you can go to Claude or to your LLM provider, to your vendor, and you can actually say, please report this feedback to Supernova. And for example, as you can see, I reported that I have some parity issue between the Figma designs and between the components that we use. So for demo purposes, I just recorded this feedback and I provided the design system team with the information that something doesn't work. So as you can see here, if I go to portal, I will discard changes for now. You can see that I have the feedback here. So the design system team can go here to the feedback and actually understand what was the prompt, what are the details, so what was the model, what was the provider, when it happened, what was the category of the feedback, whether it's open or closed, and so on. You have all the summary here. And if you have some back and forth with the agent, you can even see what was the thread with the agent. So you can have the full context and you can improve your context. We have context everywhere right now. So you can improve your design system context based on your feedback that you got from your team. Very cool. So you understand that we have some knowledge in the context, you distribute it via MCP, and then you can start collecting feedback and start improving your context. As I mentioned, we have 6 of them here. So I would really recommend start thinking about how you would create your context for your organization. But what I would recommend to do as a first thing, let's imagine that you don't want to waste 1 second of your time and you want to provide a value to your team as quickly as possible. So what I would do, I would actually create a general context that will start with my design system, and I will put there everything about your design system, because that's actually what every single solution on the market will give you. Without filtering, just give it to your agents and start collecting feedback. So I would just publish the context as is without any filtering, and I would share it with my colleagues. And that's exactly what you get mostly today, just raw, full-blown context, and you can start collecting the feedback, and based on the feedback you can actually scope it down. You can play around with that. You can understand how your team is using the context, what they are actually asking about, and so on and so on. So I would really recommend starting with the general context. Just provide it to your team as a URL. They can connect to it and they can benefit from your design system right away. And once you understand and you already know how to map your context to your teams, you can scope them down. But it's not a big deal. Don't be afraid. You can always do back and forth, and soon we will give you even more opportunity to test the context, to get even more feedback, and maybe to even get the suggestion how you can improve the feedback in the future. So I hope that this is overall everything that you need to understand about the context. Feel free to work with that. Feel free to provide your feedback, because that's the most important for us, because we know that the whole context management is very soon on the market. We don't know everything, but we do our best to provide you with the best solutions that we can. So your feedback is super appreciated. If you have any idea, please share it with us, and we will be looking for you to actually use the context to guide your agents better. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Ciao.